Hello, ladies and gentlemen. How are you guys doing? My name is Tony Chow, also known as Saskio. Some of you guys may know me as that guy who got to Platinum playing AD Carry, Draven, and Yumi at the same time. Some of you guys may know me as that guy who just is in Collegiate. But either way, that doesn't matter, because today we'll be talking about the fundamentals of AD Carry. Alrighty, what's up guys? I see you, Junhung. Is Bible related to AD Carry? Dunno. Jacob Kaufman, how do you feel about Doublelift, the spring split drama? That's pretty XD. Alright. Let's hop right into this. So, recently, ProGuides has released a video. Very recently. About 6 hours ago, I'd say? No, not 6 hours. 5 hours ago. They released a video called 10 Signs You Will Reach Challenger. Rip live. Did I get disconnected? Alright, but they released a video recently. I'm being trolled. Or I could actually be dropping frames. But they released a video recently saying 10 tips or 10 signs you'll reach Challenger one day. And the first one was the fundamentals. So that's why today I wanted to do a lesson on the fundamentals, because in that video it stated we're not going to list every single fundamental because it's actually going to take a while to explain them all. But here I'm going to actually do that. So let's look to do that right now. So, switching over to my notepad, this will be AD Carry fundamentals, but it can be easily carried over to every single other role. Maybe less in jungle, but more like in top and mid for sure. And even support in some cases. So, 20 minutes before the stream, I quickly thought up all the fundamentals I can think of right off the top of my head. I might be missing a couple, but this should get you started for now, going into your games from now on. Who's your favorite pro AD carry? My favorite pro AD, I would say Doublelift. Even through all the drama, he's still a pretty good AD carry, and I just like his trash talk, and he backs it up with his gameplay. So that's why I just like him. All right, let's hop into this. So, going into the fundamentals of AD carry, of the things that I was able to think of at the top of my head. Number one, I tried to put this in as best order as I possibly could. So, follow me here. So, we'll start off with AD carry and support matchup. This is basically before the game even starts. This is during the drafting phase of solo queue or even competitive gameplay. If you see an AD carry picked on the side, you can have an idea of what you want to pick. For example, let's say you see a Draven on the other side, right? You're not going to counter pick with the Jinx. Like, that doesn't make sense. You'd counter pick with, also in one of the recent videos, I wrote it by the way, Varus. Into the Draven, so that you can stop what he wants to do and outscale him basically as a on-hit Varus. But getting to the point, you need to understand what AD carries and supports can do if you see them picked and see how they mesh up together. Like if you see Zyra Khan, you're not going to pick Jinx. Like you're going to pick something else to try to match that. Like Leona support and maybe like Aphelios or something. Not Aphelios, maybe like Kai'Sa or something. But the point is make sure that you're not picking yourself into a disadvantageous situation before the game even starts in the first place. So have an idea of what does well into what and pick that. If you want my personal recommendation, I would say Kai'Sa doesn't necessarily have a really hard counter. Maybe Varus, maybe Draven, but you can still play around those two champions even if you pick Kai'Sa. So that's a good one to start with if you just want to blind pick Kai'Sa or just pick Kai'Sa into literally every situation. And she's overall good support. So, we're going to add the notes here. We're going to say counter picking decent AD carries. And don't tell me you're going to pick Twitch every game, because if you pick Twitch every game, you're going to be shoved under tower the whole game. But alright, once you've picked your AD carry and support, quickly run the matchup in your head on what it might look like during the laning phase, and then adapt your runes and builds from there. So, when it comes to runes, don't run the same rune page every game. Every single game, it should be slightly different, or it could be the same sometimes. You never know. Like, Varus, right? You might sometimes, if you pick Varus all the time, you might have to sometimes go from Arcane Comet. Like, let's say you're against a lot of poke, right? But maybe they have, a lot of frontline. They have, like, Sejuani, Maokai. You're not going to want lethality into those guys, because lethality won't shred those guys. So you want on-hit. So then you need to change your runes from Arcane Comet to lethality. Or not lethal, oh my god. To lethal tempo. I got tricked there by Riot Games. Lethal tempo. And then you build on hit from there. You go Blade of the Rune King, Rage Blade, Phantom Dancer, or Runons, right? So be adaptive every game, and even the smallest things. Like when I'm playing Varus, and I play into a lot of matchups, I'll go on hit normally. In the secondary tree, I'll go Nimbus Cloak, and I'll go Absolute Focus. But then if I'm against like a Nautilus or a Blitzcrank or something, or even a Draven, I'll switch that Absolute Focus to a Celerity. Those slight changes can really change different matchups to go in your favor, depending on the situation. Varus Lethal Tempo is fun. Isn't that standard? You just go Lethal Tempo, and then just you proc it, and then you just shoot your blade and Rage Blade over and over again. But anyways, adapt ruins according to the situation. And now, talking about builds. Coaching students that they're sitting inside the base, right? They just reset their full HP or something because some fight broke out, or they're full HP from the reset. And then they will sit inside the fountain for 10 whole seconds figuring out what they want to buy. I've seen this happen way too many times for comfort. Before the game even starts, run a general build on your champion in your head so that you know what exactly you're looking for in every single reset. So like let's say you're playing Varus, right? This reset you want to grab Vampiric Scepter because you want to build towards the Blade of the Ring King, right? And then the next reset you want to grab Bilgewater, and then Recurve Bow, and then you guys get the point, right? Just be quick about it and understand what you need to buy instead of standing in the fountain for 10 whole seconds. When that 10 whole seconds, you could have spent that time walking to the edge of the fountain, right? Walking to the edge, and then buying your items as you're walking there, quickly waiting for your HP to go back up and mana to go back up to full, and then running to lane so that you can catch 1 or 2 extra CS that might have been missed when you were instead like just standing in the base. All right. So, know exactly what you want to buy. Let's make sure you guys see the notepad. Yes, you do. Know exactly what you want to buy before the game even starts. And I understand you have to adapt sometimes. Like, let's say their Zed gets super fed or something as Varus, and you're planning on buying Runons. Then you switch to your PD for 3rd item. You grab GA 4th item. Something along those lines, right? Maybe even Ninja Tabi instead of Berserker Greaves. So make sure you adapt. I'm going to make it separate here. Adapt how the game goes. And you go from there. Opinion on Lethality Draven. I really don't think it's that great. I personally haven't tried it, so I can't give my full opinion on it. I'm just going to say I have played a lot of Draven in my time, as you guys may notice. I played Draven and Yuumi to Platinum at the same time. I just stick to standard like 80 carry build. My build was more to crush. I played to destroy low elo. I just rushed Infinity Edge, and I rushed PD Berserker Greaves, and or Rapid Fire, and I just ran at people and demolished them as hard as I can. I wasn't very educational in my content when I was playing the Draven Yuumi at the same time. Because when you're smurfing in low elo, right, there's 2 ways you can play. You can play to show concepts and show that people can do certain things. Or you can just whip out the full ego, just full challenger mode, and demolish people, which is what I did. So I went Infinity Edge, Rapid Fire Cannon, or PD, and just ran at people over and over again. I just came right now. What's the topic exactly? The topic is the fundamentals of AD carry, but it can be applied to top and mid. I know this is all, and the reason why I'm doing this video is because recently, very recently, like 5 hours ago, ProGuides released a video, 10 signs you'll reach Challenger one day, and number 1 is fundamentals, but we didn't go into it at all. So I want to go into it here. And yes, this is like all the boring stuff of League of Legends, I just want to point that out, but it's literally the most important part of League of Legends, before you get to your fancy Lee Sin insect kicks, or double lift RQ into the enemy team with Randuin's like stuff. Can Set be a good support? If you go Omni Stone, first tree, with Hex Flash, and then second tree you go Nimbus Cloak. Yes, Set support can be good. And Volibear support. But I'm not sure what the new Volibear support though. Alright, next. The one thing that you hear over and over. And were you the one who played Yuumi with his feet? Yes, I'm the one who played Yuumi with his feet. You guys hear this over and over again, but it is so important. So, just for comparison, okay? Last year, when I was on Maryville University, we were in the Collegiate Championship Finals, right? And the day before, we were scrimming TSM Academy before our match. I'm gonna give you the difference here. I was playing against Tactical and Treats, and then me and Clyde was I had Clyde as my support for Maryville. We scrimmed against them, and over time, as we went through the game, you would have noticed that between me and Tactical, he would be up 40 CS, not even just off of like positioning and like weak side, strong side, but he'd be up 40 CS just off of like the freest CS that you should be last hitting. And this is like over like the whole period of game, like over 30 minutes. And that is like 40 CS is a lot of money. So he'd be up like one item over me the whole time. So this is why now I stress the importance of last hitting, because when I used to play top lane, I did not care about last hitting at all. I just cared about killing the other person. And that transitioned over to my AD carry playstyle. So now, like, I am very adamant on last hitting and focusing on the every single free last hit you can get. So double down on getting every single free, sometimes not, some of them aren't free, last hits as you can. And a fun challenge you can do with last hitting is you can go back into one of your VODs, right? This is something that I'm starting to do recently. Go back into one of your VODs, watch the games, and every single free last hit that you can get, if you miss it, like you add on like 2 push-ups or something, it's gonna add up to like 30 over a game, every single game. Well, there'll be a replay of this in NA to a game, and then I'm going to pinpoint 2 AD carries and watch both AD carries, and then I'm going to count every single CS each person misses and all the fundamentals that they are doing and aren't doing. That's what I'm going to do this session. So we'll probably run that game in about 15 minutes as I go through this document. And I know this document is going to go off the screen on Streamlabs. It probably already is. Yeah, you're losing reflection at the bottom. But I'm going to scroll through it so you guys can screenshot it, so that you guys can like have it on the side if you want to just read over it again. All right, let's continue on. We have to get through these. So last hitting, make sure you double down on them. And then I'm just going to add the fun challenge. Fun challenge. Every CS you miss, do 2 push-ups. And you're going to be like, 2 only? What? It's going to add up, trust me. All right. Setting tips, please. Setting tips. Oh, in-game settings. I can go through those if you really want me to. I have the settings for the fastest optimal performance for my computer, so I can go into that. Can anyone see us probably 200 ping? Good luck. All right. No, it's a disadvantageous situation. But I know some people play from like have different situations where they have to play at 200 ping, but it sucks being on 200 ping. All right, positioning. This is a huge one because this dictates whether you can CS or not. So zone of influence. I also call this imaginary lines. Imaginary lines. So you can have two statements for this. So what this means is your positioning in lane. Your positioning should be relative to the enemy AD carry and the enemy support. As you may notice now, in bot lane, there's generally a box being created by both bot lanes. The AD carries are usually out in the middle of the lane, fighting. The 2 supports are in the brush area fighting, which hence creates a box. So now your positioning should be just far enough. So this is like a mini riddle here. Just far enough that the AD carry can't attack you or support, but close enough to last hit your minions. But also close enough to help your support. So, your positioning in lane should be just far enough so that the AD carry can't touch you, but close enough so that you can last hit minions, but also close enough to help your support if he gets into an engagement with the enemy support. So that's like a mini riddle, I guess you can say, but you should be holding that type of positioning during the laning phase, so that allows you to last hit. So you should also be using your range to as your AD carry, and that's why like people pick like Caitlyn and stuff, because they're able to zone people up more and more from holding the first checkpoint, which is just far enough that the AD carry can't attack you. You can just like push them off when you're playing Caitlyn, especially if you have grasp on Caitlyn or something. All right. So let's continue. Now, let's talk about the zone of influence or imaginary lines. So this is very important because this transitions right into team fighting. And just throughout the whole game, I guess. Zone of influence. What does that mean? It means that whenever there's a champion who is standing there, right? Let's just say 2 people are standing still in the dragon area, right? Let's say you're playing AD carry and there's a Blitzcrank in front of you, right? You have to mentally draw his hook relative to his positioning. Draw their lines relative to where you are. So basically, you need to draw Blitzcrank's hook range relative to your positioning, and you need to play just outside of it. Now let's bring it back to bot lane. If a Blitzcrank is in a bush and you can't see the bush, you can't see anything in the bush, right? You have to assume Blitzcrank's in the worst position for you, and then draw his line from there. So from there, you need to outrange it, or you need to be behind minions. So draw their lines relative to where you are, and play outside of it, or behind minions. And then now it comes down to also drawing their flash with that extra range of like a Blitzcrank hook. So after the Blitzcrank Q, you need to draw the flash and then a Blitzcrank Q on top of that. So just keep these things in mind. This is actually very important when it comes to team fighting. Because then now, when you're in the middle of a team fight, you need to draw 5 people worth of zone influences, what each person can do in that team fight, so that you can try to play around it as best as you can. That's why flanks are so valuable in high-level gameplay, because people don't take into account. They see what they see in front of them, right? They're drawing all the lines that they're safe from, but they haven't accounted for the flank. And then all of a sudden, they just have an Aatrox or an Irelia flashing behind them, and they're like, oh my god, what is going on? So yeah. Is there any way to make your auto attack range show at all times? Jesus Christ. I don't think it's that great. You should just have a general idea on what your auto attack range is at all times. Tap your C button down. You can if you really want to, but yeah. All right. Let's continue going here. Let's make sure you guys do see it. You guys do still see trading. So trading, that's pretty straightforward. Understand your maximum output. Understand maximum output in short trades. So like Kaisa, right? Like if you have an opportunity, you auto Q as Kaisa, right? Pretty straightforward trade. Then you back off. As Varus, you're level 2. You auto to apply 1 blight stack. You E, run away. Like that. Like understand your maximum output in short trades, and then like actually execute it. And then understand maximum output in long trades. So let's say like you land a Nami bubble or something, right? And you, as Kaisa, you want to E forward and just run into them, and then just orb walk your way and output damage as you just run at them down the lane. Understand how you can do that, and whether you can do it or not. Alright, let's scroll down the document here. I will scroll up again so you guys can screenshot it, don't worry. But min-maxing in lane. What does this mean? So basically, this means minimizing the poke you can receive, but maximizing your pressure. So, I already taught you guys the zone of influence, right? Of what the enemy can do. Now you have to feel your zone of influence. So let's say you're playing Caitlyn, right? You need to understand that your range is like a zone for them. Like if you're playing against like a Sivir or something, and you're playing Caitlyn, like that Sivir has to respect your like 600 something range, while that Sivir has a 500 range. Because no matter what happens, if you play perfectly to orb walk back and forth and hold that exact range, Sivir can never touch you unless she Qs you. So during laning phase, maximize how far you can move up to someone's zone of influence. This is like very common against Soraka, where you know Soraka's Q range, right? But you try to play just outside of it. And then right when she shoots the Q, you back off. And then you dodge a Q. And then you try to do it again over and over again until she runs out of mana. And you do that to the enemy AD carry too. But now, relative to you, you can maximize your pressure. Move up as far as you can. And then just dodge it as they fire the ability. And then make sure you're minimizing how much poke you can receive back. So understand when you can do this. And I also discuss strong side, weak side a little bit later on. This is where a lot of people get frustrated in solo queue because their jungler isn't ganking or something. But we'll get into that later, which I didn't include in the document just yet. Senna's zone of influence on level 6. Yeah, the maximum W range is her zone of influence if there's no minions. and her auto attack range is pretty long. But you can't play outside of Senna's Q range. Like, you understand? Like, you can't like play outside of it because it's just too long. Oh, I think your joke was level 6 Senna, where there is no zone of influence. It's just the ult that she shoots straight down. Yeah. Basically, we want to play at our maximum effective range, kind of like a Aurelion Soul W. By that, instead of having a circle, we have a ring. I guess so. Maybe. What's orb walking? We're getting into that right now. Alright, orb walking. So I think this is a mechanic from Dota, I think. But it just transitioned over to Lee. So basically, orb walking, I'm going to explain this through Udyr's perspective. What orb walking looks like from Udyr. And then you can apply it to every other champion. Because this is like the most brain dead champion to learn orb walking on. And good champions just learn League of Legends overall. All these fundamentals. So, what is orb walking? Orb walking is basically think about it like this. Your attacks have a cooldown. Your auto attacks have a cooldown. And it can be lowered with attack speed. Correct? So orb walking means is you're attacking and moving in relation to your opponent. You're moving in the same direction. And moving in the direction your opponent wants to go. And attacking when your auto attack is available again. So basically, the way League of Legends is coded, right, is if you click someone, you'll attack them, right? And then your character will stand there until the person goes out of range, waiting to try to shoot another auto attack. But once that person gets out of range, your character will start following again, and then will try to attack again. But by then, like, they're just out of range if they have more movement speed than you. So what you're doing is you're attacking and then moving while your auto attack is on cooldown, so they can move in relation to their direction that they're going, and then attacking again when it's available, and then just doing that over and over again. And it's very easy to learn on Udyr because Udyr has like is a melee champion, and your champion just literally just runs at people. So you want to run up to someone as Udyr, E them, reposition where they want to go, and then back then it used to be R max, not Q max nowadays, but you would R someone down over and over again, and then keep moving with them at the same time. But for attacks while walking between, I guess so. So it's just auto-canceling? No, it's not necessarily auto-canceling. It's more like you finish your auto and then you're keeping up with them. Auto-canceling is like Ezreal auto-Q or something. You make sure your auto finishes, but then you're queuing immediately after. Instead of autoing, letting the auto fly, then queuing as Ezreal. Or something along those lines. But, so what's the difference between orb walking and kiting? No difference. It's literally the same thing. Orb walking and kiting. How valuable is target champions only? Very valuable. When you are diving someone. Very valuable. So yes, that thing should be turned on. I think people put that on the key tilde. It is to the left of 1 above tab. That weird key that nobody ever clicks. Or you can put it on T, but then that means you have to put your this bush is warded ping on something else, if that makes sense. Watch Trick2G. He teaches his for years orb walking. Yep. Alright. Let's continue. Push, vision, push, execute. This is literally the fundamentals to the team that's winning in League of Legends. And it can be applied to the losing team, but I don't talk about it as much for the losing team. But yeah. Push, vision, push, execute. Very straightforward. 4 steps to League of Legends. You push out the wave, because you're the team that's winning, right? Push out wave. Push out wave. Okay. Let's make sure you guys can see this on Streamlabs. Oh, we need to scroll down. Alright, push out wave. Place vision and clear vision. Step number 2. Push out wave again. Oh, by the way, I forgot. This is important. Defend vision. Push out wave again. Now you execute. And basically how this works is, let's say you're setting up Dragon, right? Dragon. It's around 17 minutes. Your AD carrying supports mid now, and your mid laner's bots, right? You basically, with your jungler nearby to help you out, you push out the wave mid. If they contest you, you fight them because you're the stronger team, right? But if they respect you, you push out the wave. You rotate into the dragon area and clear their vision. You establish some control wards, you sweep some areas, you place 2 wards in the entrances of where they can come in for dragon. After that, you rotate back mid. AD carry shows up mid wave, support and jungle chills nearby while he clears out the wave. Right? And then after he clears out the wave, you guys all rotate to the dragon and do the dragon. Because now they're catching that wave that you guys just cleared, or that you guys just pushed in, and now you have the free execution onto the dragon. And if the execution fails, there's not as much they can capitalize on as if you just left the wave and just went to dragon and just executed right away. So that's like the core fundamentals of like League of Legends macro gameplay. And I can't get too deep into this detail because I can spend 5 hours explaining push vision, push execute for every single scenario. Whether you have a split push top laner, whether you have a tank top laner, whether you have a mid laner who can't side lane, so you have the 4-1 style. There's just too many variables that I can't explain. But this is the core, like, fundamental of macro gameplay for League of Legends. And, yeah. And then, of course, there's a missing piece on the enemy team, which is called their jungler. That is the huge one when it comes to push vision, push execute. Like, not all 3 lanes can push vision, push execute at the same time. Just keep that in mind. In a winning team, only 2 lanes can push vision, push execute until they spot the jungler. Then the 3rd lane can also join in. So just keep that in mind when it comes to push vision, push execute. Best AD carry to 131. Which one are you? Are you the 3 or the 1? But if you're the 1, like champions like Vayne, Lucian are really good. Sivir is also really good for being the 1. For the 3, I would say Sivir's really good in the middle because he clears the wave really fast and he can ult to disengage. Or Kai'Sa, because Kai'Sa can also join in on one of the ones. So that's why Kai'Sa and Galio is very popular, because the core 3, right, would be Kai'Sa, Galio, and jungle, and then someone would get caught on the side lane by the jungler, right? Galio would ult in, Kai'Sa would ult in, jungler would run there, and boom, now you're helping the 1 really quickly. What does execute mean in this context? Execute the objective or play being set up. Push wave while enemy under tower, set up vision. Drake, push the waves again, yep. Make to play, take objectives, yep. Force enemy to take, yeah. And basically if the enemy team sacrifices the wave, right? You don't execute the objective, and then you go back and repeat the steps over and over again. And then they just lose minions to tower. But it does get, like, I would say, really in-depth on what exactly you can do if the enemy doesn't react to the wave and just lets it fly into the tower. There's actually a lot more things that you can do, but I'm not going to explain that. It's way too much and very overwhelming. And probably won't happen. It only probably happens in higher level games. But anyways, team fighting. So team fighting is pretty straightforward. Draw zone of influence constantly as the fight goes. And then just execute it. Execute the fight. Mechanical execution. Now, enough of team fighting. Now, the mechanical execution part. This one's the most important part. And this is where you can improve your own gameplay by a lot. So, right here, this is what you should be blaming yourself on every game. I understand, like, oh, you're playing jungle or something, right? You're mid and, like, so AD carry didn't move, which is pretty sad, right? It is what it is. Like, if you can mechanically execute the 1v1 and escape before that person who forced move, or even move from mid or bot lane or wherever, comes and influences the situation, if you can mechanically execute that smite war on the scuttle crab and then get out in time, then you're doing a really good job. You're forcing plays that shouldn't be made, like, at a high level. We'll start with that. But you're still making it work. So regardless of the situation, like, you play it out as best as you can. And, like, let's say, like, you're being ganked by the jungler, right? And you're bot lane. It's 2v3 now. You can still win 2v3s. It's very common. It's actually, in my opinion, easier to win a 2v3 bot lane rather than a 2v2. Because the enemy is opting themselves into you. So as long as you can, like, dodge one important ability without using flash, and then dodge like their second ability with your flash, you can actually turn and kite towards them after, and chase them down. Because they're running through your minion waves usually. And like to be in a 2v3. But if you perfectly mechanically execute it, you can win. And this is the mentality you should be applying to every single situation in solo queue. This is how Smurfs can climb so easily, because they're given like 40 scenarios in a game to play, right? 40 scenarios. Whether they're short scenarios or big scenarios like team fights. And Smurfs will play it as best as they can in every single situation, regardless of what. Like, let's say if I have my Nasus who doesn't want to come join me, right? It's gonna be 4v5. I'm gonna play it out as best as I can. That's the concept that I heavily applied when I was playing Draven and Yuumi at the same time. Yuumi with my feet, Draven with my hands, to every single situation that was given to me. Like, I just mechanically played as best as I can. I ran at them, I dodged their abilities without flash, and I initiated the situation for my team to play out. So that's what you want to look to do, instead of blaming your teammates when something goes wrong for something that happened. So this is like the really big one. Most important out of everything. Because this literally like goes under everything now. Mechanical executioning of trading, min-maxing in lane, orb walking, like trading, positioning. It's literally everything. So put heavy emphasis on this fundamental as much as you can. Can we call you no hand Yuumi player then? That sounds really weird. So play your best in every single scenario? Yes. Like, even if it's the worst one scenario, even if you're in a 1v5, like, and they're doing Baron, play it the best you can. Draw back to the zone of influence I talked about. Understand what they can exactly do from each angle and try to play around it. Or if you need to play it absolutely perfectly, enter someone's zone of influence, but dodge what they're doing to you. Like, if you're entering a Blitzcrank's zone of influence, right? And you have to play perfectly for that situation, like 1v5. Like, let's say you're playing Vel'Koz, right? And you're trying to enter Baron. You need to enter it on purpose, dodge it, and then fire all your abilities. And then you can actually like do damage. And then play out that 1v5 scenario. Item management? Oh, that's above here. That's just runes and builds. Like, that's just creating the build in your head before the game even starts, and like adapting as the situation goes. I'm not gonna go too in depth into it, like what exactly should be built. But going down here, reflection. So after something goes wrong or after a game, just mentally reflect on the game, and don't. I understand, like, you have your Yasuo that's gonna go 0-11 in your game, right? It is what it is. But he's likely not going to be in your game again. He might come in a different form from someone else, but the only consistent factor at the end of the day is you. Reflect on your game. What could you have done better in a situation where your jungler was being collapsed on by 2 lanes because he's fighting over Scuttle Crab with no priority in that lane? What could have you done better in that situation? Should you have sacrificed the minion wave that just came in to try to mechanically heavily outplay that situation, or just sacrifice him? Or in the middle of a team fight when you're playing Vayne or something, right? Should you have tumbled this way or this way? Could you have flashed this ability after? That's what you want to look at for yourself. What could you have done in every single situation? And a very common one is baiting your teammates. Don't bait your teammates. Like, if you're playing Pyke, right? Don't hook someone. I understand it's free damage, right? But that could bait someone to go in. And then you get this huge confusion of, oh, I was just poking. And then some guy's like, I thought you were all inning. And then now you guys start flaming each other. So reflect on like what happened in the game and what you could have done better in each situation. And then apply that for the next game. And that's how you improve. All right. Excuse me for asking from ahead. What is your opinion on freezing, especially when behind? No. I know LS is a huge guy on freezing. You shouldn't hard freeze like later in the game. You can do mini freezes during laning phase where you have like maybe 3 or 4 mage minions, and then you hold the wave to force them to walk up again. And then if they walk up, you just let them push you in if you can't beat them, and then just catch the wave. But you never hard freeze, which is what LS wants to talk about in lower level gameplay. In competitive gameplay, sure, I can teach a team when to freeze and how to hold it properly and still not lose objectives on the other side of the map. But don't worry about that. I don't think it'll happen in the game. Because in lower level gameplay, what you should be looking to do is clearing the wave to halfway point, which is like the middle of the lane, right? Of every single lane. Clearing the wave that far, and then moving in for vision, and then looking to force plays when you're behind. Thoughts on upcoming AD carry health and item changes? Nice. I love AD carry buffs. What else did I want to include in here? Oh my god, there was something I wanted to include in this whole thing that I forgot about. It's actually also really important. I can't remember it right now, but I'll try. Alright, so feel free to screenshot these. I'm going to scroll up here. You guys can screenshot this if you guys want. I don't know if I can make it bigger to fit in the notepad. But yeah. So you guys can screenshot that, and I'm going to scroll down past orb blocking right now. And if you Saskio's AD carry RNG because of crit chance. It is the only big RNG factor in League of Legends. Riot Games hates RNG, but they have to keep critting because it's always been in for a while. That's why they removed dodge from the game, if anybody is familiar with that back in the day. They just have crit now. That's like literally like the only straight up RNG in League of Legends. If you're the AD carry and you're not duo, in your best interest to be the one to take carry, so pick according to your sport. You can pick according to your support, but I would recommend just playing for yourself. Like if your support picks for Khan, don't pick Xayah just because like you're picking for your support. Like play something you're comfortable with. Alrighty. Saskio, do you think I could play Xayah as a one trick in this meta? No. Unless you have a duo queue, but I never recommend duo queuing if you want to actually climb in League of Legends to high level gameplay. Because you don't want to drag someone across the finish line. Your aspirations is to get like Diamond or Challenger. Like, and his aspirations just to have fun and play League with you, then like it doesn't really align, you know what I mean? Any more things in the notepad? I'm trying to remember one of the things. But I don't think we'll play that game because some of you guys are, or my internet isn't doing the best, so we don't want to get into a game. I'd rather keep this notepad up and just answer questions and then add on to the notepad. And right now, I think I'll switch to talking about how to review your games. You think Varus is good pick to climb either lethal or attack speed? Yeah, Varus is a really good pick right now. Pick Varus. He's really good. He has CC, he has good lane control, and he has good scaling. That's like everything you want. He only lacks mobility because he's just a walking AD carry. And there's two different ways you can build him. Arcane Comet, lethal tempo. You can go lethality style, you can go on-hit style. On-hit I prefer because there's just so many more random fights in solo queue. People aren't patient enough to play around your poke. So yeah, if you guys don't know, we're probably not going to play the game today because my internet is acting up. So yeah. So we're going to answer a lot of questions. Feel free to keep asking. Alright, good, please answer. In my opinion, no. There are other champions who does her job just way better. And scales better, even. Is Aphelios a really good pick right now? Yes, he's really good with Conquer. How strong is Ashe? If you recently watched the video, they included my in my script. I said Saskio super solo queue Ashe build. Ashe is pretty good. I would say he's more of a pick. She's more of a pick into like Varus and Draven. On Ashe, you build Essence Reaver, Runons, Trinity Force, and your arrow goes down to like a 30-second cooldown, so you can just fire those on repeat over and over again. My internet is seriously acting up. Yeah, it's Shaw internet. I've had downgraded service for a long time now, and they can't fix it because there's like some noise affecting my internet or something, or the node nearby, something along those lines. So there's literally nothing I can do about it. And my computer is like perfectly fine, so we have to work with what we have. The only fundamental I've heard so far is CSing and warding stuff. Everything else are tips to get better. I would disagree with that. I would say there's a lot that goes into fundamentals. and making sure as many of them are sound as possible, like clean, basically, is how you're going to climb in League of Legends. What's a good Aphelios build into a Yuumi support and some poke AD carry? Executioner's Culling Rush. Don't forget that. Very important. Executioner's Culling Rush, and then just rush Infinity Edge on Aphelios. Don't build Essence Reaver anymore on Aphelios. It used to be really good, but nowadays it's just how good you are at mana management. Just basically don't spam your abilities. And just rush Infinity Edge, rush PD or Runons, and then just do damage. Saskio, do you give coaching sessions for Aphelios too? I'm into that. I do give personal coaching lessons on the ProGuides website. Can we find it below in the link? No, you can't. They didn't update it. But in any of the videos of ProGuides, right? If you guys go to any videos on ProGuides and scroll down to the description area, right? You guys will find my Twitter, so you guys can DM me there. And you guys will also find my ProGuides coaching link, so that you guys can DM me messages there one-on-one and ask me like some questions about like how to play the game or something along those lines, or even set up a coaching session, preferably. Beyond private coaching, where do you suggest looking up high-level gameplay of certain champions you're learning? You want to find one tricks for the champion that you're playing, or just look for VODs of no, actually no. So obviously one tricks of streams, that's the most enjoyable one. You actually go to op.gg. Go to op.gg. Go to champions. Go to Korea, by the way. Go to Korea. op.gg. It's better than NA players. Go to Korea. Go to champions in op.gg. Scroll down to the champion that you want. Click it. On the right-hand bar, there should be one tricks who are stuck in D1. Click that and look at their match history and look at their VODs. That's how you learn your one trick. Those D1 hard stuck players in Korea are really good to learn from. Does Vayne use Executioner's Calling? Yeah, if you're against a Soraka or a Yuumi. Can you go over CS again? CS? Last hitting? Yeah, for last hitting, just double down on getting every single free last hit you can. Like the free last hits are being pressured at all. Like literally nobody's there. And usually the ones under tower where nobody's pressuring. I know the tower is pressuring you, like hitting and your minions, but do your best to understand when you should be last hitting. Like sometimes, this is a very common situation on mage minions. Sometimes mage minions, right? They'll take a tower shot and there'll be this much HP, like literally one. So if you can channel your auto and your auto flies behind the tower shot, right? As the tower shot touches, then your auto touches. Then you get the last hit. Instead of winding up your auto after the tower shot hits, and then your minion just smacks it, and then it just dies. Anything on surviving lane when getting counterpicked into disadvantageous matchups? Let them push you in, and then just do your best to catch up, or at least reach level 3, and then maybe you can try to fight back once you're level 3. Can you scroll down past orb walking so I can screenshot it? Sure. Can you explain rune setup? So for rune setup, just don't run the same rune page every single game. Make sure you're adapting. So once both team comps have been locked in a solo queue, right? Pull up the runes and like click through it. Like, okay, I'm playing Varus. I'm gonna run Lethal Tempo this game. I'm gonna run Triumph this game. This game, I'm probably gonna run Bloodline instead of Alacrity because I need more lifesteal, something along those lines. And then this game, I need maybe Last Stand instead of Coup de Grace, right? I need Last Stand this game because they have tanks or they have a Zed and Talon on the team. Or for this game, they have Sejuani, Maokai, Nautilus. I'm going to go Cut Down instead, right? You need to adapt every single rune that you possibly can to the game that you're playing. When and should you buy Rune Bork or Essence Reaver first? Wait, I think I messed up two of the questions. When and should you buy Rune King on MF or Kaisa? Rune King on Kaisa or MF? I don't think I've ever built Rune King on any of those champs at all. Because on MF, if they have tanks, right, you just go Cut Down. And then you just build normal from there. Best AD carry in your opinion? Kaisa. Do runes matter? Like, are they super important? Yes, it's so important. Like, if... like, on Varus, I usually run Absolute Focus, Nimbus Cloak, right? But if I'm playing against Draven specifically, or Blitzcrank, or Nautilus, I run Celerity to get that 3 extra movement speed. That 3 extra movement speed helps so much in that situation. Who did you one-trick when you first started? This is going to be a meme, but I one-tricked Annie. It's a meme to LS, but I one-tricked Annie. And then I one-tricked Udyr. So that's why my fundamentals are so good. Because instead of playing the flashy Vayne Lee Sin like that you guys all see and want to do on your games, I played Annie to learn basic last hitting and basic like movements, and then I played Udyr to learn how to orb walk and maximize my damage in every situation. Because Udyr, you don't have to learn Udyr, you just play Udyr. Like you just E up to someone, like hit him. Back then you'd max R, so then you'd R someone down while orb walking towards where they want to go, and you build muscle memory in your muscles, on how to orb walk, and I learned that through Udyr. That's why those two champions are really good, Annie and Udyr, to learn the actual game through instead of like playing Lee Sin. Are you gonna do games? My internet is actually fluctuating a lot, so to preserve the quality of the stream, I'm probably just gonna answer a lot of questions and add on to this notepad as we go along. Because even with just the notepad up, my stream is like dying. Can you tell me a good Kaisa setup? Kaisa setup, what do you mean? Like runes? So runes, you'd run press the attack, Triumph. I know people like Presence of Mind, but I like Triumph. Alacrity, Coup de Grace, Taste the Blood, Ravenous Hunter, and then you build Manamune and Rage Blade, and then Nashor's Tooth from there. That's like a standard one. Why do I say I may need my jungler to break a freeze? Why can't I try to push the wave instead to their turret? Because if you try to push the wave instead, I'm assuming they're freezing on you, you're probably just gonna get ganked. But sometimes, like, there's a balance in life in general. Sometimes in League of Legends solo queue, there is no balance because somebody's lack of knowledge on how to play the game. Like, sometimes you need the jungler there to break something that's going on inside the game because you can't break it on your own. When do you full mute in game, or is it always? If you're somebody, it comes down to personality. If your personality is like you're tilted a lot from seeing typing, then you should full mute. But if your personality is you like to see that stuff, like me, because I don't get impacted by what other people type to me, so you can just leave it on and just like have a good chuckle while you're playing League of Legends. Is that the old Kaisa build? It can be, yeah. What I've been running recently is I've been running Halo Blades Kaisa, and I've been rushing D-Blade, Cull, Infinity Edge. That's my super solo Q build for the day. And basically you get your Q upgrade at level 7 through the Cull, D-Blade, and Infinity Edge. And when you run at someone, you get instant 3 auto attacks from Halo Blades. And then if one of those gets dinked with an Infinity Edge proc, they're dead. So that's what I've been trying. Do you like red pandas? Dunno. Is Grasp on AD carry good? It's good on Caitlyn, and it's good on Kog'Maw when you're against Tahm Kench or Braum. So as Kog'Maw, you go Grasp, Shield Bash because you have a Lulu. You run Conditioning for a lot of armor and MR at level 10. And then you run Overgrowth. And then you run Taste of Blood, Ravenous Hunter on Kog'Maw. Very specific into Braum, Tahm Kench. Can you suggest any good builds for Tristana? Infinity Edge Rush into attack speed item. And then another attack speed item on top of that. So that means Runon, Static Shiv, Rapid, or PD. Can you turn on the lights? Yeah, I've been having issues with the lights. There's too much glare outside, and the lights are on. And yeah, my screen just turns black. It just needs to correct itself. How often are these live videos? I think they're every day. Tomorrow is like Zyrene or Mike Young or something. I don't keep close attention to everybody else's schedule. But it's every day at 10:30 and I believe at 3 p.m. I think. How's Xayah in the current meta? I don't think she's that great right now. Because other AD carries can do her job a lot better and have more utility. Halo Blade Xayah, is it bad? It could be good. It could be. Is Bork worth the gold? I think it is. Bork is really worth the gold on Varus. And I'm trying to think of another area. Vayne. Very good. Draven BTA versus Hail of Blades. Draven Conquer, buddy. Where's the Conquer, man? But Hail of Blades is pretty troll on Draven, though. PTA is okay. Conquer is a lot better. How do I improve on support? I'm plat 4. Well, right here. Positioning zone of influence. Use this to your advantage. As support, control the second brush and create your zone of influence in the bot lane. The second, there's bot lane brushes is listed 1, 2, 3 from blue side, and then 1, 2, 3 going bot from purple side. And then try to control bush number 2 early on. Can you repeat Kai'Sa's build order, please? You build Manamine first, so make sure you build Pickaxe first, not the Tears of Goddess. Pickaxe, then the Tear, then the Manamine, and then Rageblade, Berserker Greaves after the Manamine, Rageblade, and then Nashor's Tooth. Then you'll have upgraded your Q from the Manamine and D-Blade that you built early on. You'll have upgraded your E and your W. What is your idea of a support in League of Legends? The idea of a support, in my opinion, in League of Legends is to make sure that the AD carry is able to get through the early game as best as possible, transitioning to the mid game, and then from there, you are with the jungler to establish vision for the objectives that you want to play for. So, push vision, push execute. You make sure you help out the AD carry push out the wave, you establish vision with your jungler and clear vision, and then you defend that vision at the same time while helping your AD carry clear the next wave, and then you execute on the objective as a support. Can you build a Sanguine Blade on the Lethality Varus? I've never seen anybody build Sanguine Blade, period, on the item. As that item. It's such a troll item. When is Cull better to get over Dorns? Never. You always build D-Blade first. You build Cull level 1 only on weird stuff like Vladimir top or something. Into lanes that just get pushed in all day. What elo am I? Bronze. Oh, no, I'm just joking. I've decayed to D1. I haven't played League for a while. But I actually do plan on playing League. I want to grind for... I do want to grind for Scouting Grounds coming up. So I will start playing on my main again, Saskio, which is now D1. Decayed from like 500 LP. Is it better to get full Manamine on Ezreal first or Sheen after tier? So on Ezreal, you build Pickaxe first. Always build Pickaxe on any tier champion first. Because the logic is with that Pickaxe, you can kill them. And then get your items. Does that make sense? And it makes it easier to last hit. So build the Pickaxe first, then you can build into other items. A buy that I did yesterday in the ProGuides website stream. We also stream on the ProGuides website if you guys subscribe to that. I built yesterday when I was playing Ezreal, I built Pickaxe and Sheen on my first reset because the laning phase overextended. So on first reset, I had Pickaxe and Sheen, and then I just came back and killed them, and then went back and grabbed my Manamine. When you run Hail Blades or PTA and Kai'Sa, I run PTA if I'm not going to go my solo queue build, and then you just build the standard Manamine, Berserker Greaves, Rageblade, Nashor's build. But I run Hail of Blades for my super solo queue build, where I go D-Blade, Cull, Infinity Edge. You get Q upgrade at level 7. And then if you Hail Blade someone 3 times, you get 3 instant autos. If one of those are Infinity Edge autos, they die. Is there a reason to buy Sheen over Pickaxe on Ezreal? Where you're not outputting consistent auto attack damage, but you're just poking them. So I would say in matchups where... Yeah, that's a good question. Try what you like and see what works for you. So that's just experimentation at that point. But they do work. I do get the logic on both sides, though. What if I do if my support's autofilled and really bad? Watch my Draven Yuumi series. Actually, no, that's all expired on my Twitch. But basically, I had a series where I played Draven and Yuumi at the same time. And basically, my feat is my support. So my support is bad, quote unquote. Obviously, I knew what I was trying to do. But basically, set up your support. The bot lane should be support setting up the AD carry for success. But in this case, you need to reverse the roles in solo queue. As the AD carry, you need to set up your support for success. And you make it brain dead obvious if you're running in for your support to also help you in that case when you're running in. And then you need to dodge stuff while you're running in. Why do you think Hail Blades is troll on Draven? I don't think it's what the champion needs. What the champion needs is he just needs just Conquer is just so good on him because when I'm playing Draven, right, I switch targets a lot, and I want to be able to stack up like something as I switch targets. I tried running PTA once on my Draven Yuumi challenge, and it was just a disaster. We still won the game, but it was a disaster. And Hail Blades does not seem like it. It's what Draven wants. It doesn't. It really doesn't seem like it. And on top of that, the reason why you run into precision tree first is because there's a lot of good things in the precision tree that you need, like coup de grace, triumph, alacrity, and then conquer, I guess. And then you need, I needed I think the blue tree. I needed Nimbus cloak on the second tree. So that might just be my bias on why Hail Blades might be bad on Draven. Hail Blades, Xayah, and Rakana's duo. I'd rather just run lethal tempo. Not a fan of the Hail Blades. Which support is good with Ezreal? You can go Yuumi, you can go Soraka, or you can go Braum or Tahm Kench. Do you think your mouse and DPI have a big impact on your AD carry performance? Yes. If you're a player who has super fast like mouse DPI, then you're used to that and that's fine. But personally, I like to have a kind of lower sensitivity to make sure my clicks are more precise. Yuumi, Ezreal, unkillable lane? Not necessarily. No lane's unkillable. It just comes down to the player and how they play around their champions. What is the best AD carry to first pick? Kai'Sa. Or Varus. Or Aphelios. Those three champions are fine. Thoughts on Lucian in the current patch? I'd rather say, rather than a patch, I'd rather say Lucian is just really good overall. As a solo queue pub stomp build. He might not be the flavor right now, but he's overall, like, him going through each meta, like, he's always there. Like, he can be played. Can you blind pick Kai'Sa? Yes. But they can counter with Varus. Keep that in mind. But it's not that hard of a counter. You just run Cleanse and you should be good. Best boots for Aphelios? Berserker Greaves. What is better, Conquer or PTA on Aphelios? I'm actually really torn between Conquer or PTA. I think Conquer is better. I can't fully answer that because I've tried both. They're both really good on him. I would say against squishies, you want to run PTA. Like if the whole team's squishy overall. But if their team's kind of tanky, go Conquer. Is Dark Harvest good on Misfortune? Probably not. I like PTA. I like the consistency. MF first pick underrated? Not really. It's actually really common in competitive gameplay, at least a month ago, to just first pick Misfortune, because she was the best AD carry in the game, period. Varus Lethality or attack speed? Attack speed for solo queue. Your teammates aren't going to be patient enough to play around your poke. Which is better for Lucian, Rush Bork or ER? Bork. Because you output so many double hits, you apply that 8% damage health over and over again. Thoughts on Trinity Ashe? Yep. That's a part of my super solo queue build on Ashe. I run Ultimate Hunter to lower my ult cooldown. I build Essence Reaver, Runons for damage. Then I build Trinity Force for 40% CDR from Essence Reaver and Trinity Force. And then my arrows are on 30-second cooldowns. Assuming I have no air drakes, and I just fire them over and over again to engage fights. Best support for Jinx? Tahm Kench, Braum, or Lulu Janna. Advice for a noob AD carry? Everything that you see in this document right here on the notepad in front of you. I also realized you guys wanted the optimal settings for League of Legends, so I will cover that in about 10 minutes. I'll continue answering questions here. What's your thoughts on AD carry Soraka? I think it's okay. In the tank meta, it's really good to play AD carry Soraka. Like, let's say, like, Tahm Kench or Braum. In Tahm Kench Braum meta, Soraka AD carry is really good. Because you kind of counter those champions. How to improve mechanics? I don't really have anything, like, to prepare to, like, how to improve mechanics. But I did recently do a session on Lucian where I explained how to maximize refreshing your E over and over again with 40% CDR, and that helps people's mechanics on Lucian. But when it comes to mechanics, like for each individual champion, you just have to keep playing the game over and over again. And then like run through these fundamentals that you see right here until your mechanics become better. How do I let my support know I'm about to all in with Draven? You ping, and then you just run at them. You ping twice, 3 times. Is it macro way more important than micro? In solo queue and lower level gameplay, no. Micro is way more important. Because it doesn't matter what situation you're put in. Is if, like, let's say the enemy team takes a really good engage. If you're able to mechanically output in a fight, which is your micro, right? You're able to win the situation and come out on top. Even though the macro was awful from your team. What's your opinion on Twitch? I don't think he's that great of an AD carry. He's outdated. That's my opinion. Even though Rat IRL plays him a lot. And does really well on him. What do you do when your support is flaming you? If it affects you, you mute him. What's orb walking? It's just like attacking and moving in the direction your opponent wants to go. So it's basically when you attack, your auto attack goes on cooldown. So in that time, you're moving to make up for while you're waiting for your attack to come back up, and then you attack once your attack is available again. Best and easiest AD carry to 1v9 in game? You can answer that with literally almost every AD carry. But I'd say Kai'Sa. Will you guys be doing this kind of stream for top lane? I've done a stream for top lane here. We don't have any top lane, like, dedicated top lane streamers, but I do, like, I used to play top lane. Like, that was my main role when I started out playing League of Legends itself. So I do understand a lot of core concepts of top lane. So I can do, like, top lane specifics for a future lesson. Once my internet clears up, too, by the way. Do you think it's possible to climb maining Jhin? Yes, and also no. Yes, in the sense that you're playing in lower level, so anything kind of works if you're like good on him. But no, in the sense that there are other AD carries, champions that are better than you. And yes, I know you're going to bring up like the high elo AD carry players like I am Taco or something, or generic or something. Yes, there are situations like that. How to watch Korean VODs? Go to op.gg, switch your op.gg to Korean, click the champions, scroll down to the champion that you want to see. In the bottom right corner, there'll be D1 hard stuck Korean players with like thousands of games on them. Click them and look for games that the spectate's available. That's how you spectate Korean VODs. How to maximize your output as enchanter support? Ooh, you just strike the chord in me. This is my opinion now. Don't leave the stream just because you hear this now. In my opinion, Yuumi, Janna, and Nami and Soraka are the hardest support characters to maximize your output on in the bottom lane. Maximization. They're the hardest champions to execute in that sense. Because, like, for example, let's say you're playing Janna into Alistar, right? To maximize your output in that lane, you need to mechanically outplay that situation. So you will ward the bush that Alistar's in. You'll walk up and auto him to pressure him off. If he engages, you need to be able to Q him midair. And then continue autoing him down to maximize your output in that lane. And then, like, same as Yuumi. Like, how many times can you get your autos off in lane for free without, like, dying? And then I know, you guys are like, Yuumi, the hardest support, what? Like, it actually, I genuinely believe those champions are really hard to maximize your output on. Why is MF so broken? Because her kit, like, just naturally is, like, built to destroy any AD carry in a straight, like, 2v2 scenario. Or even 1v1 scenario. What is push, vision, push, execute? Step number 1, you push out the wave. Step number 2, this is basically macro gameplay. I can make a whole video on this and then spend 5 hours explaining it. But the general idea is you push out the wave, you place the vision, and you clear their vision. You defend the vision at the same time. Step number 3, you push out the wave again, and then step number 4, you execute on what you want to do, on what you set up for, whether it's the tower, whether it's the Baron, or a red buff, or a dragon, etc., etc. Ho ho! I forgot! There you go, I remember! The one thing in the notepad I wanted to talk about. Tempo! There you go. The literal definition of tempo is how fast a song goes. But now tempo in League of Legends. Have you had this situation where you're playing AD carry support, right? And the enemy AD carrying support kills you, right? And then they stay in lane, and then you come back to lane, and then you kill them because you just got a fresh buy, and then now they lost their tempo. This is so important. Understand that. So basically, to sum up tempo is, let's say both AD carry and supports reset at the same time, right? They're on the exact same tempo because they're coming back onto the map at the same time. But now let's say one bot lane, they just pushed in the wave, right? And now they're resetting, and then the other bot lane's catching the wave, right? And then while the first bot lane that just reset is now walking back to lane, the second bot lane just started resetting. The second bot lane is behind on tempo now. Does that make sense? So make sure you guys understand what tempo is. Understand who gets on the map first, and make sure you don't fall far behind on tempo. So make sure you understand when you need to push in a wave so that you can reset and still maintain your tempo relative to the enemy. Because even if you kill someone, right, they get to reset because they're dead, grab items, and come back. And if you're still on the map, you might have killed them, but you're weaker than them, even though you killed them. Can I get a copy of that notepad? You can screenshot it. That's the best thing I can do. You can screenshot this, and I'm going to move it down in a second. So you can screenshot it now. Ding, with your Gyazo, Control-Shift-C, and then it's boom, scroll down. When to slow push, pause, and hard push? When you want to reset. So when you so basically what that means is when you want to reset, right? You build up the wave. It's near your tower, right? You build up the wave. Once the next wave comes, then you hard shove it in so that when the enemy comes back, they're not going to fight you through that big minion wave. They're just going to let it crash, and then that's when you can reset. So that is also an example of tempo. Because if you hard shove the first wave that's building up, right? It's going to awkwardly meet in front of the enemy tower, and then now you're awkwardly trying to clear the wave while the enemy team's poking you, and then you're just going to lose tempo because they're not going to let you reset. And that's what's called overstaying? Yes, exactly. You are right, Bruno. Overstaying the tempo part. I'm also writing... Actually, I'm not going to say anything. Actually, I think I can say it. We are writing a tempo guide on ProGuides. Actually, that might have been a leak. It's fine. I hope I don't get in trouble with that. Alright. Any tips dealing with unstoppable CC, like bombs like Malphite are? Don't enter the R range. And then if you are entering the R range, be ready to flash the Malphite R. Oh, this is also a huge one. Oh my god, this is another thing I wanted to run over. Not predicting, but knowing what the enemy will do. So this goes off of zone of influence. I see this happen so many times. Like, I'm just going to put an example here. If a Gragas is Eing towards you, and he is clearly out of range, that means he's going to flash on you. There you go. That's what I want to cover. So please, if you see a Gragas Eing towards you, and it's clearly out of range, please flash. Like, I know you're going to go between the battle of, if I flash too early, he's not going to flash. I understand there's a battle for that, but understand that that Gragas will flash if you don't flash fast enough. Like, this is just so obvious. I see it happen too many times in high-level solo queue. It's actually kind of cringe at some point. Because it happens so often now that people should kind of understand, like, it's coming. And then obviously, like, if you're playing the Gragas, you can trick someone. You can just E towards them, but then don't even flash, and then they'll flash. And then, like, another cringe one is, like you're playing against an Elise. The Elise does 3 camps and ganks you top, and you die. Like, that's also another very cringe situation. It's actually kind of weird. Is Caitlyn more powerful than Ashe? 50-50 on that one. Ashe is considered a counter to Caitlyn. What's the best way to come back from an early death? Re-establish control of the game. So basically, don't try to make up for your death. Just get control of the game. Sure, they're ahead by a longsword because of 300 gold, right? Or even first blood. And then just get your footing back and then fight them once the lane has kind of been settled out. How to end the game? Oh, I can go into a 5-hour segment on how to end the game properly. Why do I feel like Kai'Sa needs to be 30 minutes to be useful in carry fights? Not really. Kai'Sa is really good starting from level 1, in my opinion. Is Thresh good with Philios? Yes. Alright, so you guys wanted the best settings for League of Legends. Let's go into it. I know my sound is a kind of like weird, so just keep that in mind. So let's switch to client here. Let's go into this game and talk about the settings. So if you want me to run over the Lucian mechanics again too, I'll do that while we're doing this game. So let's just quickly set my runes for Lucian. Yeah, I know the sounds are really weird. Just chill. Just hang with me. I'm gonna mute the sound when I get in game. Let's switch to in game here. Will there be a custom game today? No. My internet was like dying, so we don't. To preserve the quality of the stream, we will just continue going on with this, and then just do like a one-man custom game. Do you have a Twitch channel? Twitch.tv/Saskio LOL. That's my plug. I will plug it again at the end of the stream. But I haven't streamed for 4 months, but I will be streaming on Thursday once I get my upgrade. So let's turn off the sound here so you guys don't have to hear the ocean vibes. Stupid question. How to slow down the tempo? Like in bot lane, the enemy is playing fast pace and you just want to slow it down. Just catch the waves under tower and hopefully your jungler comes and saves you. Just don't do what they want to do. If they want to increase the tempo of the game, don't give that to them, if that makes sense. Alright, let's make sure you guys can see my stream. Yes, you can. Alright. You guys wanted the optimal settings in League of Legends. Let's go into it. So, let's start off with the hotkeys. I can't see my chat right now because my iPad can't pull up the chat. But let's go through the settings. So, starting off with hotkeys, okay? Everything in League of Legends should be quick casted. This should be on. So that's normal cast, right? Quick cast. Quick cast should be on, okay? Quick cast on. Next, these two should be off. Cast the press spell upon pressing another spell, like that's weird. Replace quick cast with quick cast indicator, that's also weird. The only champion you can really do it on is maybe specifically Rumble and Victor E, because people have trouble with those for some reason. But I personally didn't have trouble with those. So turn those off in my opinion. And this is my settings, by the way, so I could be very biased here. So all quick cast is on, okay? We'll start with that. Next. I personally do my spells like this. So level up. So look at my spells here. So quick plus self cast. This is really good because when I used to play Nidalee, right? I would jump around a lot, and when I came out of my cougar form jump, I would switch to human form, and I wanted to heal myself right away. But I didn't want to physically move my mouse on top of my character to heal, so I attached it to mouse button 3. So my mouse right here activates Lucian E. And as you can see, my hands are not on the keyboard. So this is something that you can try if you want. Next, my spell number 2, my W, is on my tilde key, which is between 1 and tab and escape. So this gives you less chances to misclick like between your QW in any given situation. Okay. Alright, next, moving on. You should have your target champion only to T or tilde. Because when you're diving someone, right? Let's say you're diving someone, and then they're standing behind the tower. There's going to be a battle between misclicking the tower or hitting the enemy champion when they're behind this tower. Which is also a secret, by the way. When you're getting dove, you play in between that area if the enemy team's just trying to click you. And then over here, it's right there. You play behind there to see if people will misclick you. But if they just have target champion, you won't be able to get them anyways. Oh. Alright. So, going back to my settings. And then, I don't really have much here. This is all just standard stuff. I don't use A-click. Yeah, none of this matters here. Buy an auto attack move, don't do that. Alright, so going to video. So, you can never disable screen shake, it's really annoying. So when the dragon, I think it happens to dragon. Dragon shakes the screen, you have to disable it every round. But, this is the optimal settings. 1920. Borderless, because I like to alt-tab for my YouTube music. Full screen is better. The game is very slightly smoother in full screen. Keep that in mind. But if you try to alt-tab, everything blows up on your computer. So just keep that in mind. Now you go very low everything. I've always run very low from the beginning, so keep that in mind. I'm very used to it. I used to play on a Mac, it was really slow, so I had to have very low everything. Turn off character inking, anti-aliasing, wait for a vertical sync, and you can go to 144. That's usually the best. My laptop is not the greatest in the world, so it won't ever reach 240. 240, your game can I'm reconnecting. Jesus Christ. Yeah, as you can see, my internet's dying out. But yeah, if you ever go to 240, some weird stuff can happen to your game. I did talk to a Riot referee when I was on Riot Game stage, and they said, if you go to 240 hertz on your League client, not your monitor, weird stuff will happen to your game if your computer is really good. So keep that in mind. Sound doesn't matter. I just turn the music volume to 0, and then I keep the rest available to hear. All right, moving on, I go into the interface. So interface, I've played with 100 forever, but in reality, you should have HUD scale on 1. HUD scale should be 1. Because it gives you more room to work with when you're in the middle of a team fight. So as you can see here, there's my HUD scale 1. There's so much more room to work with for like my game. Alright, moving on. But I play on 100. I'm just so used to it. It's really, I tried switching. It's really weird. So scrolling down, minimap should be 100. Should be the biggest one. Now here you should do show health bars, show control UI, turn off animations, show health bar animations, turn off enable HUD animations, and turn on show summoner names. The reason why you turn off, the reason why you want very low quality and all this stuff turned off is because in the middle of team fights, you don't want your FPS dropping. You want your FPS to maintain at the highest possible. Even when there's 10 champions firing stuff all across the map, you want like the best possible like FPS possible. Next, scrolling down, I use legacy cursor because I'm cool. Turn off show enemy information tooltips. This is so annoying when you're jungling. Look at this. Oh, it's not turning on. There you go. Anyways, it's not turning on right now, but it shows up like the Krugs like at the bottom of your screen. It's really annoying. I just turned it off. Next, show target frame on attack. This will lag your computer some more. Turn that off. Turn off and then enable line missile display. I had it on because I have my settings in a way where even if you change it now, they won't fully change. But that also lags your computers very slightly. Next, show attack range and show spell cost. You want spell cost because this is what happens when you don't have spell cost on. You can't see how much anything is. So you can't do math on how much, whether you can all-in someone or not. So keep that in mind when it comes to spell cost. You don't turn off eye candy? Oh! Whoa! How is my eye candy not on? I missed it. Good call out. Thank you very much, Mr. Chromacore. Alright. Scrolling down. You can turn these off if you want, all chat, that's fine. Keep timestamps on, very important. Because if someone flashes, you want to ping it, you see the timestamp. And then you can do some basic, you can add 5 to it, which is the general flash timer. Next, these are automatically turned off. Mana and experience. This is really annoying when people don't have this on, when I see it. Turn these on, so that you can see how much mana you're using. Do you see that? 40 mana. What is eye candy? It's like ambient critters and effects. It's like, do you see the frogs when you enter onto the rift, right? You see the frogs just randomly around the map. But if you turn it off, like those don't show up, so then you save a little bit of FPS. What if you have a good computer? Even if you have a really good computer, I'm assuming even with very high settings, in the middle of a team fight, if 10 people are firing their abilities, your FPS will drop. And you don't want your FPS to drop anything below 144, if possible. And you just want it to be as smooth as possible. I understand you want like a really like good looking game, but I've never like had like a $30,000 computer or something, or a $10,000 computer, so I can't really run those settings. And even on Riot Game stage, which is arguably, not arguably the best computer, but optimally, like optimal computers, right? Even on Riot Game stage, when I'm playing my collegiate tournaments, I go very low everything. Very low. Just because I'm so unused to it. Going next, mouse speed, that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. You should do fixed offset so that it's in the middle. If you do pre-side, this is going to look like this. It's going to do some weird stuff where your character's on the side. And I think semi-locked is like also kind of weird. Yeah, where it's like, it locks depending on where you want to put your camera, like this. Some people might like this. I can't play like that. Fixed offset's the best, just right in the middle, nice and clean. And I do tab between both when in the middle of a team fight. So if I ever do stream League of Legends again, which eventually, you'll notice that when I'm like playing around, I go on and off between the two. I don't play completely off or on. I switch. I barely have 40 FPS, lol. Make sure your settings in your desktop is set as high to FPS as possible. Personally, I'm at 144 Hz on every monitor I play on. 240 is the best. I think 360 is already out. I'm not sure. But your computer needs to be able to support it, obviously. But just make sure your FPS is as high as possible when it's to your display settings. You go to display settings, advanced display settings, monitor at the top, and then you see 30 FPS, switch to 60 or switch it to 144. Switch it to the highest you possibly can go, and that will change your life. Don't you change time to minutes? Where? I do minutes plus seconds. I like minutes plus seconds. It looks a lot nicer. So let's look at the bottom here. Right now I have 5 minutes. I think if you do minutes, what does it look like? Oh, that does not look nice at all. 4 minutes, you can't see anything. Yeah, as you can see, like with minutes, like you get to see the seconds on it. Can you alone 80 carry with feeders? Yes. Yes, I can. All right. So continuing on, when it comes to gameplay, turn off movement prediction, attack move on cursor. I have that on. Auto attack, I have that on. I think auto attack means like if you kill something that's dead, your character will try to auto attack something else. This can be very useful in very niche scenarios when you DC and you're being dove and your character will start auto attacking something. But yeah, these are the, in my opinion, the optimal settings to League in terms of FPS and just like giving you the most information you can possibly have. All right. Attack move tips. I don't attack move at all, so I've never used it in my life. I just manually click. I know the attack move is like, it's really weird where you can like, where you like click like, let's say I click here, right? You attack the nearest object. I just don't like it. I trust my manual clicks on moving back and forth. Auto spacing is also in my notepad for positioning and zone of influence. How can you 80 carry if your team feeds a lot? You win your lane before your team feeds. That's how Smurfs carry if their team starts feeding. Will you be streaming more on Twitch? I'm finding the stream really informative. Yes, I will be streaming a lot this summer about League of Legends coaching. I'll be coaching a lot of people on my League stream. And side stream, I'll be streaming a lot of old school RuneScape. On Thursday. Because on Wednesday, my friend's going to come over and fix my computer. And then I will be able to stream. Is there an in-house? Not today. I wanted to maintain the quality of the stream by not going into a game. Because my internet was booming back and forth. Alright, let's pull up the notepad again just so you guys can see it. And we'll just answer questions for the last remaining 5 minutes. What is your questioner? I will watch your YouTube name go by with your question. Unless I'm scrolling up here. Actually, thoughts on Akali? There you go. I found it. Akali is a really good champion for 1-3-1, which is what I talked about earlier for competitive gameplay. She's picked into very niche scenarios. I can't go off the top of my head what mid laner she can go off of, but if the enemy mid laner wants to 4-1, like champions like Zoe, Xerath or something, you can pick Akali and side lane straight up. Because that person can't go to the side lane to match you because you can kill them. So if you're playing Akali, you generally want to pick it into those champions and run Electrocute or something. And then force them to go to a side lane so they can't screw over your team if they're just grouped up. Is it movement prediction good for dodging? 50-50. I've heard things about it. I know Faker runs movement prediction. I really dislike what it looks like for movement prediction on my screen. That's why I don't run it at all. But you can try it, and if you like it, then go for it. Do you dodge skill shots like Thresh Hook or Pike Q to the side or straight back? Well, first of all, as you can see in my document here, zone of influence, right? I draw the Thresh Hook or Pike Hook in my head already. It's already in my head. And I'm always just outside of its range to try to bait it out. But if for some reason you get inside of that zone of influence and you have no choice but to dodge it, you usually go to the side. I'm not going to explain the way I juke if in case another like competition I could be playing against sees this. But you can create like a system where you juke like a certain way to play off of human psychology. Like, for example, let's say you're walking straight, right? And they haven't shot the hook yet. You can go right 1 second and then switch left really hard. And then if they still don't shoot it, then you have to do some weird stuff from there. But if you can try to play off human psychology on where they think you're going to go. Because the way humans draw out something is if they see you go a certain way, they're going to try to finish the path. Their brain finishes the path for them. And then they're going to shoot it in that way. So that you can try to play off that if that helps you a little bit. Thoughts on Varus mid? Not top lane, by the way. Varus mid, lethality can be okay into poke mages. Because you just poke them back. What do you think about mage AD carries? I don't really like them. Ziggs, etc. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan. But they are meta sometimes. And they are mainly used for flex picks in competitive gameplay. League of Legends guides on AD carry split. I can definitely look to do that one day. Because there are some situations where AD carry should be split pushing. Hard split pushing instead of grouping. How would you play with bad supports? Set up the lane in a position for your support to help you carry instead of the support setting up the position for you to carry. So you're reversing the roles. It's more risky, but it is what you have to do if your support's bad. And on my Twitch stream, when I played Yuumi with my feet and Draven with my hands, that was a very good example of that because I literally had no support. It was just my feet supporting me. So I had to set myself up with my hands to carry the lane. What's the best way to learn wave management? In all your solo queue games, look at how the waves play out in your lane. So like if you build up a wave towards them, then you can fight with the big minion wave. You know what I mean? And if they're building up a wave towards you, don't walk up to the minion wave. Let it push in. And that's something that I didn't include in this document at all. But it is very important. I should have actually included it in the document. What if enemy has Malzahar and also a Talon? They should have got out drafted then if they have both for some reason. But if you're choosing, you would go Ninja Tabai and QSS if you really have to. Which would you say is better, Blue Cane or Nidalee? Blue Cane's really bad, so I'm gonna go with Nidalee here. How to counter assassins like divers like Zed and Talon? Make sure if they dive, they're being punished for it. And then the next question is my teammates are bad. Well, unlucky. You just have to try to outplay it or buy a stopwatch. Are you playing with Virus today? No, I'll be ending the stream very soon. I wanted to maintain since my internet was exploding, I adapted really quickly. And we just went with Notepad and a quick custom game. And just answering a lot of questions. Being very interactive with the chat today. How can I counter Katarina? Play Malzahar. GG. When do I freeze as AD carry? You can hold mini freezes, but you don't hard freeze ever. So you only hold mini freezes if you can during the laning phase, where you can make them miss a couple CS if they reset in a certain way. Hell yeah, OSRS. Nice. So you don't use the A attack at all? No, I don't use the A attack at all. I just manually move my mouse because I trust my mouse the most. What do you think about first picking Ezreal? That's fine. Like they can pick Kai'Sa into it and counter you, but like the champion overall it's just fine. How do you win against Draven? Pick Varus and run Celerity on Varus. It was in one of ProGuides' recent videos on how to counter OP champs. It's the most recent one. I was the one who wrote the script, by the way, guys. Why only mini freezes? Because you mini freeze because it's impossible to hard freeze early on. Unless you're 5-0 up on like the enemy, you can hard freeze, sure, and if they walk up, you kill them. But at that point, why not just push out the wave and apply my concept of push, vision, push, execute, as I'm going to scroll down here to my notepad, and then just control the map and help mid lane, if you're that far ahead. Hard freezes don't really exist, unless someone's really far ahead. Does anyone make support guides like you do for AD carry? I make support guides like me for AD carry. No, I'm just joking. So, ego aside, I don't know of any high elo sports that make guides. Maybe low pally, but yeah, I am on the ProGuides website. If you guys do subscribe, I am talking a lot about support this week. If you guys do want to go there. Hey, is Nocturne good for pick and low elo considering he's been OP this patch? Yes. Nocturne is good for low elo. Because in high elo, normally pre-6 ganks don't work, but in low elo, pre-6 ganks with any jungler works. Like I can play Heimerdinger jungle and I'll find a kill really easily at level 3. Core JJ do support guides? That's true. You can check out Core JJ. He's a reliable source. Do you think Irelia bot is viable? Yes, in high-level competitive gameplay. In low elo solo queue? No. The point of like the Yasuo Gregus, like Irelia, like Braum flex picks is like to trick out the enemy in high-level competitive gameplay, to pick bad stuff into it. Who is your nation? I am Vietnamese Canadian. What do you do as an AD carry when Camille ults you? I'm gonna be quite honest, you just cry if a Camille ults you. You just cry when you're playing AD carry. While you're crying, do your best though. I enjoy the quality of Saskio's instructions. The quality of my instruction is there, but my internet quality is not there. I apologize in that sense. Downgraded Shaw internet in British Columbia, Vancouver. What AD carry is good for playing by yourself without a duo? Kaisa, Varus, Aphelios. What do you think about Syndra AP carry bot lane? It's a flex pick in high elo again. It's not used for low level gameplay. It's to smash people. What is the best lane to impact the map? Jungle? if you want that answer. Thank you so much for your response and info on the stream. No problem, Piplup. How do you play from behind? Ooh, you striked another chord in me. I can go like hours and hours into how to play from behind, but generally you just catch waves and you rotate mid to try to force a play. If that's the answer, that's the overall answer for low level solo queue. Just catch the sideways as AD carry, rotate mid and try to force a play. That's like the overall but it obviously goes deeper than that. How to survive a poke lane as an immobile AD carry? Make sure you have celerity and make sure you play with the zone of influence I talked about. Like, say you're playing against Xerath, and you can't leave the zone of influence. Make sure you're juking. Try to move in weird ways where the Xerath is going to break his ankles. Is Call worth buying? No. As first item? No. But as like an item on reset? Yes. The only champions that can really buy Call straight up first item is like Vladimir top, like maybe Maokai top into some matchups, Quinn with Cleanse into Renekton top maybe. That's like the very few niche scenarios where you can just first item buy Call. Is Kiana worth picking? 50-50. I'm not a fan of Kiana. You abandon a lot of these fundamentals that applies to a lot of other champions when you're playing Kiana, in my opinion. Can one tricking Irelia mid work? Yep. I'm gonna do a mini leak here. We're doing a Analysts of a Irelia gameplay very soon. That's the best leak I can give you. Once you use exhaust over heal, when your AD carry is ruling to run heal, and you have Nimbus Cloak, then you run it exhaust, so that you can proc the Nimbus Cloak 30 seconds faster than having heal. How to win lane versus poke champions? If they overextend, all in them. Otherwise, dodge everything. And yes, it is easy said as done. You hear the easier said than done, but it's easy and said and done. You can dodge really easily if you're very smart. Where will the analysis be? It'll be right on the ProGuides channel, straight up, uploaded at 5 a.m. PST. Is Draven strong in the meta? He's aight. Best tips for playing Jinx? Stay alive, reach Infinity Edge, Essence Reaver, Infinity Edge, Runon's Hurricane, another crit item, that's 25%, and then pop off. How to counter Yasuo AD carry? let him push you in and just farm near your tower. Don't push up early on, because once they reach level 2, you like Yasuo Alistar, Yasuo Gragas, they'll just go on you and destroy you. Who do you main? Kai'Sa. Got any Lucian tips? Learn to reset your E as much as you can in a custom game so that you get better in terms of the mechanics. So go into a game, buy 40% CDR with the Essence Reaver and Trinity Force, and make sure you're constantly resetting your E over and over again. Is Varus good right now? Yes, he's one of the best AD carries right now. Tips for Vayne. Stay alive. Varus tips, learn how to trade with him. Auto E, auto WQ. Positioning in the laning phase. When would you dodge? When it's just a straight troll. It's just, everything's just, no. Like, you're not dealing with any of that stuff happening in the game. Which pro player VODs do you watch? I watch AD carry streamers. I watch people like Doublelift to see the way they click and the way they move in laning phase. And then I try to compare the concepts that I talk about and see if Doublelift is doing it himself. And normally he does like literally everything like that I explained on this document. But he doesn't think about it as much. It's like, it's just natural, which is what you want your gameplay to become. You want all this that I have here to just become natural to your gameplay. You're not even thinking about it. It's just happening. Is Varus on hit stronger than Lethality Varus? Yes. Especially for solo queue, because nobody in solo queue is going to wait for you to poke them over and over again, then to engage. People are just going to fly at each other in solo queue and engage. So go on hit Varus. How do you counterpick on AD carries? It's small counterpicks. It's not like hard counterpicks, but you just need to play the game and figure out what like does well into what. Like, you're not going to pick Jinx into a Draven. That's not happening. You're going to pick Varus into Draven if they first pick Draven. Any general tips on Ezreal, especially for low elo? My huge tip for Ezreal is not a safe champion. He can be played safe, but think of Ezreal from Uzi's perspective. Think of Ezreal as a Lucian. If you land a Q, and your Q comes back and you land a Q again, don't be afraid to Ian with your support, because you have 2 Conqueror stacks. Ian, auto them, Q, and just pop off. Think of Ezreal as a champion that can be really aggressive, and then play to that aggression once you do find that small advantage during lane phase. So get that perception out of your head that Ezreal is a passive champion. He's a really aggressive champion if you know how to use him. But you can play defensively if you have to. Just keep that in mind. Who's the worst AD carry champion? Probably Twitch. He's literally the worst AD carry. Like, I'd rather pick Kog'Maw, because you can go grasp Kog'Maw and it'll be still useful into like Tahm Kench and Braum. So you can proc your grasp on them. Let's look to answer a couple more questions and call it here before my superiors get mad at me. Thoughts on Duskblade Ezreal? No, not it. How does carry support when you win lane, but you can't roam because mid is feeding hard? That question went by really fast. League of Legends, how to carry as support when you win lane, but you can't roam because mid is feeding hard, and AD carry don't know how to position in team fights? Then you roam top lane. Because if you won lane, but your AD carry isn't doing his job, then it is what it is. It sucks. How do you survive lane as Kai'Sa? Don't ask... Whenever you're playing League of Legends, don't ask yourself... If you're playing a matchup that can win, don't ask yourself, how do I survive? Ask yourself, how do I win this lane? And then play off that. That's how you improve. What things from this video can translate to other roles? As much as possible from this notepad. As much as possible. Jungle's a completely different beast, by the way. Like, when I coach jungling, I coach how much time you're wasting in the game. And for some players, when the game goes to 30 minutes, I've added up over all of their little things that they've done, 5 minutes of wasted time that they literally wasted doing nothing. Absolutely nothing in the game. 5 minutes. It's insane. When I coach jungle. When should I use R and Kai'Sa? When you need to blow people up and just suicide for the play, or to live. To keep kiting. Kai'Sa has the lowest win rate. Why I still recommend her? She's just a very, like, balanced AD carry, in my opinion. Like, a lot of people is going to disagree with me on that, but she's just, like, her kit is, like, very well designed. Her numbers, maybe, not the best in the world, but her build, like, and everything is just very balanced. I just love everything about her. How do you learn from losses? you reflect. Right here. Reflection. And you'd have to go back on this VOD, so make sure you save this YouTube link at the top so that you can go back and watch it when it's unlisted. To go back to where I talked about reflecting in the game. It was very brief. It was like a 1 minute where I talked about it. But it's very important. How do you get better at League of Legends? Do everything in this notepad. Literally everything. Start doing everything. Stop worrying about least insecting someone and looking fancy while you're doing it, like flashing, doing the weird kicks and stuff. Just focus on all this boring stuff to get this like as clean as possible. Is Runon's Hurricane a good first item buy as Aphelios? No, buy Infinity Edge at least. Then grab Runon's. Do you have any tips for freezing wave as Draven? Not really. It's just not even specifically Draven. It's just freezing in general. And I know you'll have to keep your axes running, so you have to work around that too for freezing. So it's a lot harder on Draven. How to stop autopilot? Make sure you don't autopilot. Like double down on yourself. That's a you problem, personal problem that you can easily fix if you just like keep your head in the game. Why is Twitch so bad? He's outdated and he's not been updated. All right, let's do one more question. Why can I not see? Well, that's not the question. Why can I not see your beautiful face? Because there's a lot of glare in my background, and yeah, I need to work on my positioning and where I'm streaming. One final question. Let's look for a good question. How do I make plays in mid game and late game as AD carry when everybody can one shot me and my team is useless? Push vision, push execute. Make sure you're moving your teammates around in solo queue. And yes, I've streamed myself in gold elo, moving people around before, in low level gameplay, to push out waves, to establish vision, push out the waves again, and then set up a scenario, a good team fight scenario where you have vision established. They don't have vision of that area that you're fighting in, and then you look to engage off of that, whether it's objectives or whether it's team fights, something along those lines. That's how you look to set up when you're being one shot as an AD carry. Set up the steps. If you're winning. If you're losing, it's a different beast. Alright. Alrighty, guys. I'm going to end the stream there. My superiors are getting mad at me. So, you guys can follow me on twitch.tv/SaskioLOL, where I will be streaming starting next Thursday. Or this Thursday, actually. I'll just say this weekend. This weekend, I'll be streaming a lot of old school RuneScape. And I'll be streaming probably some League of Legends. I might actually play. But mainly a lot of League of Legends coaching. So you guys can check me out there. You guys can follow me on twitter.com/SaskioLOL. And guys, thank you very much for watching the stream. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I will be ending the stream there. You guys get the starting soon screen. Have a good day, you guys. And my name is Saskio, by the way.